Where are we, Sienna?
First U.S. Naval Station.
Yet with the tables.
Well, sometimes, like the other day, we had Vallejo Charter School come in.
Oh.
They come every year. It's a group of first graders. They come every year, and they brought their lunches and they sat there and ate lunch after their tour. Also, we had another group, a bus group, have a tour with lunch, and then we had a catered lunch.
And this is the actual naval base.
This used to be the pipe shop at one time. I was trying to move away because I'm getting that light right in my eyes.
I'm sorry.
You turned. This was Mare Naval Shipyard. It closed 22 years ago, 1996.
That was kind of recent.
Yeah, 1996. It closed. These guys that are in, well, most of them except for those two right there. The guy coming down the stairs is retired from Mare Island.
Oh.
He's retired Navy also.
Oh, cool.
And then we have several others in here today who are retired from Mare Island.
That's awesome.
From Mare Island.
Okay, so you have a lot of people that were here when it was actually active.
Yeah.
You have that
So
question.
this is, I have an African American display down here.
Oh, cool.
That's not the cemetery, the hospital. This is in the park across the street. Monument there. These guys were fighting discrimination on Mare Island in 1961. There were 21 of them in 1961, and they had good jobs, but they weren't getting promoted. They were training other people, and the ones they training were getting promoted. So
that happens in today's world.
Yeah, so they wrote to Washington and during Kennedy's administration. And it was examined, and that was going on all across the United States. So that started the affirmative action across the United States.
They did?
Uh-huh.
Oh, awesome.
In 1961. So we have a book in the library that he wrote about all of that. And they said we weren't trying to make any trouble. We were just trying to make it better so those coming after us wouldn't have to go through what we went through. They felt insulted, because they were well-trained people.
All right, you get lots of good information.
You got to help us out on our report?
Anybody in that picture?
Yeah.
Her dad is actually in the Coast Guard, but no.
There's nothing in here.
Okay.
Okay, come over here. What's your name?
Sienna. Sienna.
Tiana.
Sienna.
Can you spell it for me?
Sienna.
Oh, Sienna.
That way. Okay.
My hearing is not doing real well today. This one, and this one, and this one are still alive. The others have all gone because they were only 21 years old at the time, so they're still living. The rest have passed on.
Do they live in Solano County?
Yeah, they live right here. Well, he lives over in Oakland. These two are in Vallejo. I see him. My husband has lunch with him once in a while because they used to work together.
You know, the day we put that on the pedestal, I think Vernon is in there. What was Vernon's last name? Can't even remember now. I worked with him. We were in the same apprentice class. Walter Allen just passed here not too long ago.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the picture of the stone.
So anyhow, there was
Bottom of the list. Him and I hired in the same apprentice
but
class.
that doesn't help her.
Pardon me.
The congressman had a big dinner in here, and shortly after, and he was the speaker for that. That's why John Lewis, from Georgia, congressman from Georgia.
And these are the letters they wrote to the president?
He came for the dinner, but he's in Georgia.
Is
John
he still
Lewis.
alive?
Yes, yeah, he's a congressman in Georgia. And he marched with Martin Luther King.
Oh. There he is.
He's pretty outspoken. He's known
Right.
pretty well amongst the African Americans because he's pretty outspoken. But anyhow, these were their complaints right here. Very nice guys. And this is the hospital section. During World War II, there were 9,000 women working on Mare Island, and that's down in the women's section down there. This is hospital here. That's the Navy Nurse Corps. The lady that gave me that poster, it was her mother that posed for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty. Now the hospital pioneered in orthopedics, so that would be bones. They were the first to make the plastic prosthesis like this.
And that was here.
Yeah, but the
Wow.
hospital, it's a medical school now. It was a hospital at that time. The hospital closed in 1957 and moved over to Oak Knoll in Oakland.
There was a hospital here.
Yes, Mare Island Naval Hospital. It's all a medical school now. But anyhow, that was made at the hospital. That's a World War II doctor's kit like they would have out on the battlefield. The first doctor of Mare Island is that one with the beard right there. The second doctor was the lower one. He's buried in Arlington. He's buried in our cemetery here. His wife was the granddaughter of Francis Scott Key. Do you know who Francis Scott Key was?
No.
Okay, look, see the flag over there?
Yeah.
It has 15 stripes on it. That's a replica of the flag that Francis Scott Key saw when he wrote the Star Spangled Banner. It's not the real thing. The real thing's at the Smithsonian. But there are a lot of groups, a lot of areas made flags that look just like it. So that's a replica. But the real one's at the Smithsonian. This is a Daniel Turner building we are in. Daniel Turner was a civil engineer who came with Farragut to start Mare Island. And Daniel Turner was married to the daughter of Francis Scott Key. And they are in our cemetery here at Mare Island. And then he was married to their daughter, so the granddaughter. There are about 7 members of Francis Scott Key's family in our cemetery here at Mare Island. So, La Vega, meaning island of the Mare in Spanish. Before that, it was called Isla Plena by Don Juan Ayala, meaning flat island, in 1775. Some squatters around. If there were Indians, they were the Miwok, and way back before Farragut even.
Was even a
Okay, found it. Yeah. And then the gold rush happened in 1849. So it needed a naval base on the west coast because everybody's running to California for gold. So you get privateers, thieves, everybody. There's no naval base here. So they need to be able to protect the harbors, all of the harbors, and protect California. And so the president sent Commodore Sloat, and Stockton. So you have the town of Stockton, you have Sloat Boulevard in San Francisco. Sent Sloat and Stockton to California to find a place for a naval base. They found this island. It was an island, like I said, at that time. So they set it aside for government use, and then the president set it aside for naval use. They had a few Navy ships, but they needed to build more ships and repair the ones they had. So Mare Island opened September 16th, 1854. And that's the birthday of Mare Island when Farragut arrived with his family and his group. September 16th, 1854. So, to start a naval base. So the building we are in is the first building that they built. There were some old buildings around, but for shop, this is the first building they built. It's that white one over there was a blacksmith shop. was built in 1855. And so this is the first one. And it was a pipe and copper shop. That tall guy that I just sent away because he tends to talk a lot and he would interrupt too much, was in this shop. He was a pipe fitter in this shop.
Wow.
Yeah, here. Like I said, this was a pipe shop and blacksmith shop, pipe and copper shop. Boiler shop was a couple doors down. I can show you when we're on the other side. There's a model of Mare Island that has, and I can show you how the shops were laid out then when we get over there. But this was a major orthopedic and neuropsychiatric screening during World War II. The hospital was, and like I said, it's a medical school now. The hospital. Let's see. Oh, it's over here. We're out of 5,000 acres, so it's quite spread out.
Yeah.
At first, they were treating them aboard a ship, so they built a hospital. This is an old granary building they used for their first onshore hospital. While they built this one, and they built that all out of brick, and they made the brick on site and built that hospital.
That's really big.
And so, like I said, they pioneered in orthopedics, neuropsychiatric screening, which is now you hear about post-traumatic stress.
Yeah.
Well, in those days they called it shell shock.
Oh, okay.
And so they'd come back from overseas and they needed some psychiatric help because they had the shell shock. So they would check them at the hospital and then usually send them to a state hospital to get well. California, but Napa has a state hospital. Imola. It's still there in Napa. But if there were other state hospitals like that, psychiatric hospitals, they needed more help. So they kind of check them out at the hospital and send them off if they needed. But they built that one. That one was damaged in an earthquake of 1898. So currently this one was built on where this one used to stand. It doesn't look that nice now. I'll show you a picture over on the other side what it looks like now. But when it was first built, it looked like that. And this is a World War II nurse's outfit here. Yeah, a lady gave me her dress and her cap. She was a World War II nurse at the hospital here. Her husband was a doctor.
She's like a superhero.
And then,
which they were then.
Yeah. Well, this is actually another World War II nurse's cape when she worked at Children's Hospital. The Navy cape was navy blue with a red lining. But a lady gave me her dress and cap. She just died last month. And her funeral was at the chapel. She passed away. Well, Farragut was the first shipyard commander in Mare Island. Okay, well, the Navy found it, yeah. They found the island, and then it was made into a naval base.
But Farragut was the one who initially...
He was the first shipyard commander. He was when he left here, he was a Civil War hero. We have a picture of him in the other room up there. You can get him there. This is the hospital medical schools in these right here, and these right here. This was the psychiatric one. It's all private university. They came from San Francisco in 1999. My granddaughter got her master's degree in nursing from this school, but it's not on this campus. On the location. They're here on Mare Island. So you can see all the nurses. This is the dentist that gave me the cape.
Oh.
It was his wife's gift. And then, see, all movie stars came. Here's Bob Hope. In the 40s, you had, they were doing Warp on Drive, USO tours and all that. And because this was such a big hospital, why they spent a lot of time here. So all the famous movie stars, here's Irving Berlin. I don't know if you recognize who any of those were. Irving Berlin was a famous musician and songwriter. Eleanor Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt was a president in World War II. His wife, she came with him in 1942. she was so impressed with what they were doing with all the artificial limbs and the braces and stuff that she returned in 43 to go through the hospital more thoroughly there. But they were here several times. Here.
Wow. That's pretty important.
Yeah. I'll to look through that in a minute. This is a mock-up of a nuclear submarine, the USS Vallejo, named for him.
Yeah, it was supposed to be pretty big for the submarine, what they did for
Mare
submarines
built
here.
27 non-nuclear submarines and 17 nuclear submarines.
And this
So
is
the
the
Vallejo
only
was
one
a
on the
nuclear
West
sub
Coast?
that they launched in 1965.
Is this the only one on the West Coast that did the submarines?
Maybe that built them. I'm not sure if, well, yeah, they're known for their submarines, but only 44 ships they built were submarines.
Yeah.
All the rest were other ships.
Was that
Where
one?
we are, right there. So you can see this is all the industrial area where all the ships were built and worked on. These are the dry docks here. I'll explain in a minute. So the boiler shop was right here. My brother-in-law was the superintendent of the boiler shop. This was the boiler shop, and then rigging shop. These three buildings were torn down back about 1980, and then they built a big concrete building there, which was a new pipe shop. So these are no longer there. But this is all the industrial area here, where parts of ships were built, and then they bring them out the waterfront out here to the building ways, which is just right outside the window out there. It looks like that. That's sort of a ship in the building way.